They thought it was just another cave. In 1914, a man walked in, picked up a few flints, shrugged, and left. Nothing special, he said. 2 decades later, a local guy, he started digging, and the earth opened up. Engraved stones, ornaments, bones. He dug for 5 years. Even Abbe Brauil, the Pope of prehistory, a Catholic priest, came down to see it twice in the shadow of the Second World War. La Marche is a library of stone, hundreds of limestone slabs, scratched with the hands of Magdalenian people 15,000 years ago. Faces, animals, fragments of a gone world. You will find the cave just outside Lussac-les-Châteaux, above the little river called Petit Maulin. The place looks ordinary, surrounded by fields and a pond from the Middle Ages, but the cave itself waits high on the north side of the valley, 10 meters above the water, south-facing, a perfect lookout. Before the archaeologists came with their shovels and notebooks, La Marche was just another cellar. It was a wine cellar. Before that, a storage room for local farmers and their vegetables. And a long time ago, a courtroom for druids. The digging started in 1937. They tore down the walls, cleared the rubble, opened the floor and found flint blades stacked in secret caches. Someone had buried their tools for a tomorrow that never came. Bones with engravings of reindeer, horses, even the claw of a cave lion, and most importantly, for this episode, human faces. A library of faces pressed flat into the stone. 15,000 years ago, someone knelt there in the dark, carving, their hands steady, the firelight flickering against the cave walls. Beneath the black soil, the story went on. The Magdalenian people didn't just stop at one layer. They came back, again and again. The layers are stuck up one after another, thin strips of life, and in between a yellow silt. The stone tools were nothing special, rough, clumsy, but the bones told a different story. Fragments etched with the sharp little geometric lines, painted once with the red and yellow ochre. Imagine that, 15,000 years ago, someone mixing colors, painting designs that still cling to the bone. Also, they built fires. 2 hearths, one round and another perfect rectangle, carved into the floor. Ashes thick with the bone dust. Around the fires, tools. And then the horses, always the horses. One bone has a horse, cut clean, simple. Tiny horses, scratched into the surface, their lines blurred with the red ochre. The artist had smudged them with a finger. But in one point of time, the boulders crashed from the ceiling, splitting the bone in 2. Even in art, nothing lasts forever. I want you to hit that like button like your life depends on it. And if you are not subscribed, please do. Thank you. The engravings at La Marche are not gentle. They snarl. Lines scratched into limestone are fine, cut shallow. It looks like chaos. Heads, legs, bodies, all tangled together. But when you step back, the shapes crawl out of the stone. A feline, growling, its body stitched from a web of cuts. Some slabs were broken, split into perfect rectangles, as puzzles scattered on the ground. Put the pieces together and the pictures returned, not shattered by violence. The time itself had done the cutting. One slab, hidden under a layer of earth and tools, was found. When they brushed it off, a human bust appeared. profile carved into low relief. They called it the sorcerer, but nobody has a clue what it meant. He has scars on the cheeks, or maybe he's crying. Is it even he? Maybe it's a woman. Were they marks of identity or pain? The cuts on the cheek carved into the rock so it would never heal. 15,000 years ago, someone carved their own reflection, or their enemies, or their gods, or their loved ones. And the stones kept coming, layer upon layer, like a forgotten archives of souls. They found him on a stone, an old man. Lines carved deep into his face, every wrinkle, every scar. Not a god, not a hero, just a man growing old in the Ice Age. 15,000 years old. It's rare, almost impossible, to see age in prehistoric art. But here it is, proof they saw themselves, not only young and strong, but frail, bent, human. 15,000 years later, he's still looking back at us. Time to vote. Just 6 videos left in the European Paleolithic series. She is only 6 centimeters tall, a seated woman. Naked, with bracelets on her ankles, maybe even shoes. A belt across her waist to hold a loincloth. Someone cared enough to carve her on the stone that later shattered. They pieced her back together. And then an owl. Remember Chauvet? 40,000 years old. This one is about 15,000 years old. A slender figure, no head remained, broken off, the hair down to the backside, reaching forward as if pulling a bow. 3 horses on one block, a mare heavy with foal, grazing, mane thick, tail wild. To the other side, another head. A reindeer, muzzle sharp, mouth open, antlers branching like veins. Men, 2 of them. One stands tall, naked, beard and hair trimmed, arms raised, like he's calling to someone. Every detail sharp, nose, mouth, sex, chin. Another kneels, bald, bent forward, arms stretched out, like begging, or praying, or dancing. Nobody knows. Maybe they have sex. Who knows? Another head, profile in the left. Thick hair falling over the face, hiding the ear. Eye cut deep, jaw strong, chin sharp. And, as always, the women. Heavy bodies, hair tucked under caps. Goddesses, symbols, or just women. The animals again, scratched through the noise of lines. Horses with donkey ears, strange hybrids, reindeer hidden in the stone. These are portraits of people drawn 15,000 years ago. They are scratched into the limestone, into dark of the cave. The faces of those who lived there. Were they different from us? The nose, mouth, the hollow eyes belonged to someone who walked the same ground, breathed the same air. A hunter, a mother, a child, a father. They're all gone, but their images look back at us like a mirror left behind. And then comes the question, what this portrait means. A record of memory? A gesture of love? Or just a moment of boredom? A hand carving for no reason? An artistic need? Existence does not give easy answers. We are born, we leave traces, we vanish. They left their faces on stone, And here we are, staring at them, wondering who they were. Were they happy? Did they know despair? Did they dream of the future where there is no cold? What kind of world did they carry inside their skulls? We can never know. We will never know. We only know that they lived, and in that way, they're not so different from us. A broken limestone plate, about the size of a hand. It's in the Musée de l'Homme, the Museum of Man, in Paris. Scratched over and over, lines fighting each other until the figure almost disappears. At first, they say it was a man, then a child. But look again. It's a newborn. The head is too big for the body. The swollen skull, bruised from birth, legs curl up tight, and over it, the faint shape of a woman. Swollen belly, breasts heavy with milk. It's raw, like life itself. At La Marche, they carved horses, not the clean galloping kind. These were restless things, split across time, a body in motion scattered in layers. A horse movement by superimposition of successive images. The teeth from horses engraved with fine grids, triangles, trapezoids, cross-hatched with the patience of a goldsmith, not worn as a pendants, not trophies, something else, something private. Look close, the shape of a pubis, a vulva, life and birth, carved into enamel harder than stone. How did they cut these marks into such unforgiving material? We don't know. Flint crumbles against it. Maybe they had crystal blades, sharp as secrets. Were they charms, fetishes, something to wear for the hunt, tokens of survival? We can't be sure. But in the hand, they feel like prayers pressed into teeth, offerings from a people who lived and died with horses. These people lived face to face with the nature. Maybe they saw nature as a god, a spirit. Who knows? We can only speculate. But what they created, it's immortal. Art is an echo of life trying to outlive itself, a mark left behind so that the silence does not have the final word. Life moves forward and vanishes, but the art insists on pausing it, pinning down the moment so it lingers forever. If you watch this much, thank you. You can support me for $1 per month. Links are provided. Please subscribe, like, and comment. It will help this channel grow. Thank you.